Hey there, I'm Peter Pistorius, the CEO of Snaplet. We build tools that gives developers really good production-like data that they can code, test, and debug against. Think of our tooling as a better seed script or a better PG dump for development workflows. Today I'm going to demo how Snaplet's generate functionality works. And by the end of this video, I'm hoping to convince you that it's time to ditch your handwritten seed scripts and move on over to Snaplet. Okay. So Snaplet generates data based on your schema and the entities that you specify in our TypeScript configuration. Over here, I have a schema for a cat cafe in Tokyo where a customer can book a slot to play with a cat. So the customer table has some private information. The cat table has some information about the cat. And the bookings table combines those two things together so that we're able to reference a cat and a customer. What I want to do is insert some information into the bookings table. I currently have no rows. I'm going to specify the intent to generate some data. So I'm going to say Snaplet, I want one booking. I'm then going to run npx snaplet generate -- SQL, and we're going to get some SQL statements that we can insert into our database. You'll see here that Snaplet has inserted a booking, a cat, and a customer, and it's tied it all together. The reason why Snaplet created a cat and a customer is because in the bookings table, those are non-nullable references. So Snaplet understood well enough that it had to go and create those values for you automatically. You'll also notice that in the customer table, we've already generated some data that kind of looks valid. We have an address, we have an email address, and we have a first name and a last name and a phone number. Snaplet was able to pick up what you want to insert into your database based off the structure of your database, the schema. It's not always 100% correct, and in those cases, you can interrupt the data that is generated and specify your own values. I actually want to change this email address so that it is lowercase. So I'm going to say customer. I want to change the email address of the customers that are generated. And what I'm going to do is return a copycat value of email. The copycat library generates deterministic values. For any given input, it'll always produce a static output. That's really important when you want to write tests or you just want stable references to things in your data set. What I can also do is specify a domain. I'm going to use example.org. I'm not comfortable with using anything else. And I'm going to lowercase that so I can use the full power of TypeScript in order to modify the data that I'm generating. When Snaplet generates a booking and there's a customer involved, modify their email address value to be this very specific copycat.email with a domain of example.org and lowercase that for me. Let's run that again and see if it worked. Okay, so here we got a very specific email address. And it's lowercase and it's at example.org. Now, we said it was deterministic, so I'm going to run that twice. And you'll see every single iteration, we got the same value out. Super, super helpful if you're writing tests. We've generated a single booking. But what if I wanted to generate something like 100 customers, 10 cats, and 1,000 bookings? You can do that too with Snaplet. So what I'm going to do is break this apart. What I want is 10 customers. I'm going to use a new method to generate 10 values. So here I'm saying generate 10 values, and then I can specify how I want that data to be changed. I'm going to say I want that good email address again, and I'm just going to copy this value from here. So now I'm going to generate 10 customers with different email addresses, but they're going to comply to the rule that I wanted to use example.org and be lowercase. And then I'm going to generate some cats. Let's say cats. Again, I'm going to use this C callback, and I'm going to say I want 5 cats. And we're going to modify the data that is generated by this function too. So we're going to say I want their age. Let's just fix the type errors here. I want their age to be within the range of 1 to 20 years. Now, I don't know if you noticed that earlier. I had a type error. So if I try to return a string from here, you'll see we'll get the warning here that age shouldn't be a type string. It should be a type number. And that's because Snaplet understands your schema and it helps you along of generating data that makes sense. And then what we want to do is have some bookings. I'm just going to resize that window here. So I'm going to say what I want is snaplet.booking. I want 1,000 bookings. For the purposes of this demo, I'm just going to make it 100. And then I'm going to add a new value here called AutoConnect. What happens here is we're generating 10 customers. We're generating 5. And we're going to pipe these two values into this one here. And we're going to auto-connect the relationships. Snaplet will equally distribute the cats and the customers amongst the bookings. So you'll have a representative data set that's equally weighed. I'm going to use snaplet.pipe. And we're going to say, Snaplet, generate these values for me and pipe them together into this bookings, into the booking. So I'm going to go ahead and run this. I'm going to generate 100 bookings with 5 cats and 10 customers. Let's have a look at our data. So we have 100 bookings. We have 5 cats and 10 customers.
Now, I made the bold claim that Snaplet's generate is a better seed script. But why is that? We generate data against the schema in your database, which means that we can automate a lot of the tedium that you had to do previously. So you no longer need to maintain hierarchical order of your entities, keep track of IDs, or even specify all the data you want generated. You specify the intent and we'll figure out the rest for you.
Thank you. Head on over to snaplet.dev, install the generate command, and try our tool.